back. Mrs. Orendorf here in my art studio. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make printmaking with foam and markers. Did you know you could do this from home? Of course you can. For this project you will need a small piece of foam paper, a pencil, a pen, some washable markers, and a sprayer bottle. And of course, the paper that you will be printing on. This is my example inspired by the artist Wayne Thiebaud. And also we'll touch a little bit about art history with Mr. Andy Warhol. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get started. I started with a line right about here. And then two diagonal lines running parallel. That means they run together alongside, but they never touch. Okay, another line parallel to this one. And we have the side of our cake. You can get rid of any extra lines you don't need anymore so that you don't get confused. Okay, next we are going to make the top of the cake by making another line here. We are going to make the top, the edge of the crust. This could be a pie, a slice of pie, or a thick slice of a yummy cake. You decide. Curvy line here, curvy line here, and then you get to create either the crust on this pie or the frosting. You can get rid of any extra pencil marks you don't need, so that when you trace on the foam, you won't get confused. Okay, now most cakes have icing in the middle. We're gonna make two lines running across. And then you decide what is on top of your cake. Does it have a cherry? Does it have a candle? Does it have, I love chocolate covered strawberries, so I drew my chocolate covered strawberry. On this one, I think I'll just do maybe a Hershey's Kiss. Or a few. You could draw a few sprinkles. Just make sure when you color them, you add a different color to the sprinkles than to the cake. Now, if you, in printmaking, there is no shading, gradation going from very light onto a darker color. It's very black and white. So when you want some shadowing, you create detail with line or shapes. In this case, you see the shadow underneath these little, we could say little gum droppings or just little sprinkles to the right. That means our light source is to the left. Okay, so the shadow will be on your right. Shadow, shadow, shadow. All right, if you want to create just a few lines for shadowing, you can just make a few lines here, a few lines here, and I did a few on this edge just for interest, but mostly on the right. I did a few polka dots to represent the grain of the cake. You can do this, you don't have to. You can even do like a swirl. Sometimes the icing has a nice texture. Okay, now we are ready to transfer onto our foam. If it makes it easier for you, you can grab a paper clip or two so that your papers will not come apart while you are tracing. I would do the corners where you do not need to trace anything from your drawing. Okay, with your pencil, you are going to trace. You have to press a little hard, and I don't suggest using a pencil that is super sharp because it could cut through your foam. You want it a little blunt. Okay, so trace on top of your drawing over everything that you drew. Be careful not to trace unwanted lines. So you see here there's a line behind this chocolate or gumdrop, whatever you want to call it. Don't trace the lines you don't want to show up. Once you are done transferring your drawing on top of the foam, this is what it will look like. This will not be deep enough into your foam. This is where the pen comes along. You need a regular ballpoint pen. Trace on top of your pencil lines all over your foam. Make sure you don't leave any little details that you want to show up untraced. And let's fast forward. Now we are ready for color. Pick your colors very wisely. I would stay away from dark colors such as black. Pick the flavor of your cake. That's super important. In this case, I use yellow for a vanilla. This time, I think I'm going to do chocolate just because this looks like a chocolatey delight cake, or maybe chocolate pie. All right, so you want to use your marker nice and bold. Be careful not to get out of the lines so that another color can go in the other parts. Also super important, do not put your fingerprints or fingers on top so that that ink from the marker stays nice and juicy. Think about the filling that you want in your cake or pie. And I will also be making some examples with the popsicles and the ice cream so that you can have choices. Okay, then you want to think about your frosting. What flavor is it? What color is it? This case, I think I'm going to do yellow. Make sure that your markers say washable on it, friends. That is super, super important so that this trick will work. We're going to create magic, which really is just science, but I like to call it magic because some things that you do in art, certain techniques, they give you a really awesome effect. Okay, if you get out of the line, just kind of wipe it down a little bit. Fill it in if you need to. A little more. Right here. Keep going. Okay, this is where the magic is about to happen. I have all the colors that I need on my foam drawing of my beautiful cake or pie slice. Here is my paper that I will be printing on. This is where water and marker get activated with a sprayer bottle. And if you do not have a sprayer bottle, you can use a damp cloth. Something like this, a little towel, you get it wet and you run it on top of your paper. So I sprayed my paper with water. Smear the water around. You can kind of absorb a little bit with a towel, not too much. You want your paper to be damp. Lift your damp paper, place your colored piece of foam, and you will put your paper on top, your damp paper. Press. I like to use this part of my hand as my tool to rub when I do printmaking because it gives you a nice, smooth area. Okay, hold it with one hand so it won't move. And when you reveal it, are you ready for the big reveal? Kind of nerve-wracking. Gorgeous. Here we go. Ta-da! This is called marker printmaking.